Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport and get the help you need to finance your own EV or clean energy future. And by UGears. Give the gift of fully functioning wooden mechanical models to inspire, educate and entertain your loved ones this holiday season. And by Energy Sage. Visit the link in the description below to find local, verified solar installers and community solar projects in your area that will help you power your home and your car with clean, green, renewable power. Welcome back to TEN or Transport Evolved News. This week may have been tough for many of us for reasons that I'm not going to go into, but just know that here, hopefully, is a safe space. Tesla has received its official certificate of conformity from the US Environmental Protection Agency, which was needed for it to be allowed to start Tesla semi-deliveries. The news was broken early this week by Teslarati, which had asked the government agency if Tesla had been granted the document, and the EPA responded in the affirmative. Just as passenger cars need to get specific paperwork before they can be sold in the US, all heavy-duty trucks must receive the certificate of conformity before they can be sold, delivered and registered for use in the US. This paperwork, as the name suggests, confirms that the vehicle in question meets all emissions and efficiency requirements. Given the all-electric drivetrain of the Semi, gaining this was a given, but it now means deliveries can start, with Pepsi due to get the first Tesla Semis on December 1st. Last week, several of you commented that we only cover Tesla financials, something that technically hasn't been true for a few months, and today we've got Ford and GM financials to share. Ford first. It reported a third quarter revenue of $39.4 billion, 10% up on the previous quarter. However, despite improving revenues, it posted an $827 million loss, equivalent to an adjusted 66 cents per share. Quote, a result of special items, end quote, was blamed. What are those special circumstances? A decision by the automaker to close the Argo AI subsidiary it had ploughed money into for some time, with the hope that Argo would develop a full Level 4 driver assistance system. Instead, Ford has decided to invest in its own in-house tech, but switching its investment in this way resulted in a $2.7 billion pre-tax impairment. General Motors next. It also posted its quarterlies this week, showing a revenue of $41.9 billion and EV sales figures of 15,200 units. This resulted in GM seeing an adjusted earnings per share of $2.25, beating Wall Street estimates of $1.90. That is great news for GM, as is the news that it managed an 8% EV market share in the US during the third quarter, as the Bolt and Bolt EUV sales combined outsold the Ford Mustang Mach-E by more than 2-to-1 during September. During the earnings call, Mary Barra stated that GM is on track to meet its year-end estimates guidance, but disclosed that due to a slower ramp-up of battery cell and battery pack production, the company was revising its 400,000 annual EV production goals to 2024 from 2023. The US federal government has confirmed this week that it's awarded nearly $1 billion in funding to help school bus fleets dump the pump and go electric. Announced in a wave of different press releases midweek, the funds, earmarked by the government as part of the bipartisan Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act of 2021, was split between 389 different school districts across all 50 US states, the District of Columbia, several tribal nations, and US overseas territories like Puerto Rico. Originally, the US government had earmarked $500 million for the program, but given overwhelming demand, it nearly doubled that funding to $965 million. The majority of funds will go to schools in low-income areas, with 95% of funded buses expected to be all electric. Lucid Motors made good on its promise this week of launching several different accessories for the Lucid Air sedan, ranging from all-weather mats to a very powerful home charging station. The mats are your run-of-the-mill affair with very modest, affordable $250 price tags. Then there's a set of specially designed crossbars, enabling you to fit a variety of different luggage solutions to the roof of the car, including a bespoke air cargo capsule, as Lucid likes to call it, but we'd call it a roof box. Either way, it will set you back $2,000. But what grabbed our attention the most was a $1,200 Lucid charging station, which the company says will deliver up to 18 kilowatts of charging power to the Lucid Air and is, eventually, going to be capable of vehicle-to-grid power transfer. You will know by now, I'm sure, that we are great fans of the right to repair movement on this channel. So when Massachusetts passed groundbreaking voter-backed right to repair legislation in 2020, we had hoped good things for the automotive repair enthusiast. But some of the nitty-gritty of that legislation, namely that automakers install telematics systems that are, quote, interoperable, standardized and open access, end quote, has thrown a spanner in the works, with the Massachusetts Attorney General and two automakers, General Motors and Stellantis, stating the law would put automakers in violation of federal safety laws. The issue revolves around just how open is, with both companies arguing that there's no safe way to implement the requirements without causing cybersecurity threats, and the AG stating there's no way to fairly enforce the law. British sports car company Lotus, which is now also in the SUV game, because that's now a thing that every sports car company does, apparently, has revealed its Eletre EV. The car is, according to Lotus, a quote-unquote hyper SUV with a 2.9-second sprint time, a performance variant with nearly 900 horsepower, 662 kilowatts, and 726 pound-feet, or 984 newton-meters of torque. Unlike many prestigious marques who regularly introduce cars that start with a six-figure price tag, Lotus says the entry-level Eletre will cost under $85,000, with the range-topping R variant, complete with track mode, commanding closer to $113,000. Range is expected to be similar to that of the Chevrolet Bolt EV, but it will come from a much larger 112 kilowatt-hour pack. Sticking with quick things, Ford CEO Jim Farley, who has been coy about officially stating the sprint times for the Ford F-150 Lightning, has finally spilled the beans. This week, via Twitter, Farley confirmed that while Ford had a working target initially of 4.5 seconds for the sprint time, its latest software makes a sprint time of, quote, under 4 seconds possible if you have a Ford F-150 Lightning fitted with an extended range battery pack. For those who already own one, like me, this news isn't exactly unexpected, and I've certainly experienced a faster than 4.5 second sprint time when accelerating hard. Given that Ford also downplayed the actual maximum charging rate of the extended range Lariat, 170 kilowatts versus the quoted 150 kilowatts, I can only question what else Ford has underestimated about this truck. Tesla's full self-driving beta program and the capabilities of its Autopilot and enhanced Autopilot have helped many people who aren't EV owners come to the conclusion that Teslas are capable of full, hands-off, never-intervene self-driving, helped on by countless YouTube videos. This week, Reuters reported that some of the language used by Tesla and, by association, Elon Musk at events and online has led the US Justice Department to open an investigation into the company. According to the report, sources at the Justice Department suggest Tesla is under criminal investigation to try and ascertain if it misled customers, investors and regulators by, quote, making unsupported claims about the driver assistance technology's capabilities, end quote. Although Tesla has faced similar claims before, it initially lost a case where it was accused of misleading customers in Germany. It then had the decision overruled by a higher court. So watch this space. The Renault Zoe, a friendly, 5-seat family subcompact that has been part of Renault's EV push now for a decade, has thousands sold in Renault markets around the world. But when Renault's first mass-market electric hatchback got a 0 out of 5-star safety rating on revised Euro NCAP crash tests, partly down to the change in standards and partly down to changes in the vehicle design for that model year, we all suspected that the end was nigh. This week, that suspicion was confirmed, with Renault's boss confirming that the Zoe will not be replaced. Given that many of Renault's new promised subcompact EVs won't arrive until 2025, this means Renault is effectively forcing subcompact buyers to go hybrid instead. Renault says that hybrid is better than gasoline and maintains it's focusing on larger electric models first. But I'm honestly starting to question the point when automakers do this kind of, I'm going to be bringing you our shorts in a moment, but first a word from today's video sponsors, UGears. UGears combines everything you remember from the engineering toys you may have played with as a child with the beauty of wooden parts, the accuracy of laser-cut pieces, and the joy of ingenious, fully functioning mechanical models. UGears offers a wide range of beautiful, fully functional 3D models that you can assemble yourself at home with no prior experience, with clear, easy-to-follow instructions right there in the accompanying beautifully made assembly book. There's no glue needed to assemble the parts, and you get everything you need inside the box to make your own model, ranging from simple creations suitable for ages 5 and up, all the way through to incredibly detailed engineering models. And the plywood used? It all meets international safety standards. There's something for everyone, ranging from working clocks through to musical instruments, and my favourite for the year, the pickup lumberjack, which is based on the iconic Chevy 3100. We've teamed up with UGears, and we would love you to check out its website, where you'll find a whole host of amazing realistic mechanical models and kinetic sculptures. Right now, shipping on all orders of $50 or above is free, and if you buy one of UGears' amazing kits, you'll not only be getting a great gift, but you'll be supporting a Ukrainian business that has managed to keep creating and inspiring throughout the illegal Russian invasion. Prices start from just $10 and work all the way up from there, so check out the link below to pick yours. And full disclaimer, we are working on a commission, so if you follow the link, we will get a little bit of money in return. And now it's time for shorts. Bosch has confirmed it's begun production of electric vehicle motors at its Charleston, South Carolina facility. Motor sizes range from 50 kilowatts to 500 kilowatts, and Rivian, one of its first customers, will soon receive motors from the facility. Toyota has started construction of a new hydrogen fuel cell research and development centre in Beijing, China. The facility will be managed and operated by 2 distinct subsidiaries of Toyota, which are jointly owned between the company and local Chinese firms. Hyundai will officially open the order books in Germany, the UK, Norway and the Netherlands on November 9th for the Ioniq 6 First Edition. Only 2,500 First Edition variants will be made, with prices costing upwards of €63,000 or equivalent. EVgo has just confirmed that its AutoCharge Plus system, which uses the fixed networking hardware MAC address of customers' cars to tie them to an account, is capable of working with Tesla's official CCS adapter. Oh, and make sure you check out our interview with EVgo's Jeremy Whaling in the link below if you haven't yet. Heavy plant machinery company Sennebogen has unveiled a new 50-ton battery-powered crane. It's the world's first battery-powered crawler crane and charges from a standard 32-amp CCE industrial socket, which is helpful because that's found on most European building sites. The Volvo Group has announced it will build a battery module production facility at its truck plant in Ghent, Belgium. The facility will be completed by 2025 and will produce battery modules for the FH, FM and FMX heavy-duty range of electric trucks. Bluetti Power, the company behind a whole range of portable and solar energy products, has just successfully raised $8 million in crowdfunding for its next-generation Apex solar generator. It will be available in a range of guises and promises off-grid and home backup capabilities. Following the reveal of the GMC Sierra EV Denali last week, Chevrolet has quietly updated some of the specifications of its Silverado EV, a vehicle which is essentially a twin to the Sierra EV Denali. It's now listed as having up to 754 horses. Volvo continues to drip-feed information about its upcoming EX90 electric SUV, and the company released details of the car's infotainment and dashboard this week. Volvo promises a contextual menu system that gives you quick access to the information you need. Component manufacturer Lear Electric has announced this week that it's been awarded a new contract with General Motors to supply GM with the battery disconnect units used on full-size electric SUV and pickup models that the company is planning through 2030. Tesla has issued a rare in-person recall for more than 24,000 Model 3 cars to fix an issue that can't be fixed via over-the-air. It's to address an incorrectly torqued seat belt buckle and anchors in affected vehicles built since 2017. Sticking with recalls, General Motors has issued a recall for all Hummer EV and Bright Drop Zevo 600 vans to address faulty sealing of each vehicle's high-voltage battery pack. In extreme situations, water could get into the pack, causing corrosion. Our final recall notice of the week revolves around the BMW CE04 electric scooter, which is being recalled by BMW to address an issue with a loose horn bracket. The recall notes that the horn sits above the front wheel and, if it comes loose, could affect front wheel steering. EVgo has partnered with One Tree Planted to celebrate the creation of its half-millionth customer account. Announced midweek, EVgo will be making a noticeable donation to One Tree Planted, which carries out urban reforestation projects across the US. According to a report from Reuters this week, Toyota has halted all development of future EVs in order to properly contemplate its position in the automotive marketplace. Anonymous sources say a skunkworks team are looking to develop new strategies to make Toyota EV competitive. General Motors followed another automaker this week and announced that it would be powering all of its North American facilities with renewable energy by 2025. This announcement is 25 years ahead of its original target, but GM, we need more clean cars as well. As part of its rethink into future EV plans, new reporting from Japan this week states that Toyota is planning a ramp-up of production for its BZ4X electric crossover. However, that ramp-up isn't promised until 2025, by which point that car will be old. California's EV sales figures have continued to grow, with the state issuing new infographics this week that state so far this year 17.7% of all new cars sold in California were electric. That's nearly 3 times the EV market share elsewhere in the US. Electric hydrofoil boat company Candela has announced it will be producing a T-top version of the C8 electric hydrofoil. Called the Candela C8 T-top, it's designed to be used in parts of the world with lots of sun-drenched summer days and lots of rich people. The Tesla Cyberquad toy made by Radio Flyer has been involved in a recall campaign, seemingly after a 36-year-old woman sustained a bruise riding one with a child. According to the recall paperwork, the powerful electric quad doesn't comply with US federal safety regulations. Rivian has halted production of its powered tonneau cover for the R1T, but don't worry, it's a temporary halt. While it does mean you're not going to be able to spec one at the point of ordering right now, Rivian says it's redesigning the tonneau for eventual reintroduction. Toyota has unveiled the BZ3 electric sedan. It's the second electric car to be given the BZ prefix to its name, but unfortunately it will only be available to customers in China. Like many other automakers, it seems Toyota is prioritising Chinese market customers above others. Indian mobility company Ola Electric has revealed a new variant of its S1 electric scooter called the Ola S1 Air. It has a 4.5 kilowatt motor and has a top speed of 53 miles per hour or 85 kilometers per hour. The order books are open. Lotus's brand boss is dropping hints this week that the Lotus Evija, the company's first all-electric hypercar, will soon be heading out to Germany for a record attempt on the Green Hell, aka the Nürburgring Nordschleife. It's going after the production EV record. Damon Motorcycles has confirmed it currently has more than $90 million in backlogged orders spanning the last 2 years since it first unveiled its Hypersport and Hyperfighter bikes. None of them have been delivered yet, so it's quite the waitlist. Mullen Automotive, a company that we're seeing pop up more and more on this show, has launched the Argo in Europe. It's a small Chinese-made city car and will go on sale in Germany later this year. It will be made available for just under $12,000 or equivalent. Even though Maserati hasn't yet launched sales of any electric vehicle, the company is full steam ahead on the transition to electric, teasing images this week of its first all-electric ragtop. Called the Gran Cabrio, it will be launched sometime next year. Transmission specialists Borg Warner have announced that it will be supplying its e-axle powertrains to a, quote, European commercial vehicle OEM, end quote. The company hasn't said which customer it's talking about, so we will of course update this one when we have more info. Going on the offensive to tackle super high performance models like the Tesla Model S Plaid and Lucid Air Sapphire, Porsche is readying a new triple motor Porsche Taycan model for launch sometime in the near future. Like those other two models, it will be twin rear motor, single front. Latest data from the US shows that for the first 8 months of the year, renewable energy accounted for nearly 1/4 of all electricity consumed. In total, 23.3% of total energy generation was coming from renewables, up nearly 3% on last year. Rivian has officially pushed a new software update that includes a new trick designed to make it easier to get into and out of its vehicles. Called Kneel Mode, it takes advantage of the truck's air suspension to lower the truck down when you open the door to get in. And those are your shorts. There will be more next week. It is that time of the show when I show you a little something we've been working on, and this week it's the teaser for the upcoming Chevrolet Bolt EUV walkaround and drive, both of which should drop next week, but don't hold me to it. Rallycross legend Ken Block has been known for years for his hoonigan moniker and his gymkhanas, where he takes a ridiculously powerful, race-ready car around a specially designed urban playground, seemingly peeling smoke from every orifice. For many years, Block was sponsored by Ford, but some time ago he switched to Audi, with the company promising him a specially made electric gymkhana vehicle. This week, video dropped of that very first Electricana featuring said car, the Audi S1 Hoonitron. Filmed on the iconic Las Vegas Strip, the 800-volt dual-motor all-wheel drive Audi S1 Hoonitron does not disappoint, although we'd be remiss for pointing out that with all of that tyre shredding, the car may be zero tailpipe emissions, but certainly not zero particulate emissions. That said, if it gets more people buying EVs, I think we can forgive it for now. And finally, Chinese automaker XPeng has been accelerating its electric car sales and development for a number of years now, with new models popping up with increasing regularity. But at the company's 1024 Tech Day event this week, XPeng unveiled the latest prototype in its bid to bring a real flying car to market. Called the XPeng Aero HT because it's made by Aero HT, this does look like a regular car with a drone strapped to the roof, but unlike previous examples, this one actually flies. Unlike the previous computer-simulated variants, though, this one is a little rough around the edges and more cyberpunk than the Jetsons. But nevertheless, I'm curious to know if that's something you wish your car had. Or perhaps you'd forgo the folding wings and 8-rotor setup for a car that didn't require a second mortgage to be able for you to afford the payments. Maybe, though, I am just jaded and old-fashioned. And on that note, we are done for today. But before I go, a huge thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring today's show. They have been advocating for electric vehicles since 1967 and firmly believe that our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. The EVA can help you find someone near to you that can help you make the switch to electric. It can help you become an EV educator, and it can point you in the direction of monthly meetups for like-minded EV fans. And if you become a member, you'll gain access to a clean energy and EV loan program set up between the EVA and the Colorado Clean Energy Credit Union. So find out more by heading to electricauto.org. And thanks to the lovely folks at UGears. Educate, entertain and enthrall this holiday season with one of UGears' amazing fully functional mechanical models. Follow the link below to get yours today. And finally, thanks to Energy Sage. Follow the link below to find out how easy it can be to get verified, trustworthy solar experts helping you make the step towards energy self-sufficiency, either with solar on your home or through a local community solar project. And keep your eyes open for a new energy marketplace devoted to heat pumps. Don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell for this channel and our second channel, Transport Evolved Take 2. And in addition to becoming a Patreon supporter or YouTube member, you can tip us through Ko-fi or check out our cool swag store. And if you liked what you saw today, why not consider adding a super thanks to your comment? It is easy to do and everything you do helps our channel grow. And before I go, a note to Americans in the audience. We are rapidly approaching midterm election season, so please make sure you exercise your democratic right to vote, because democracy only works when we all take voting seriously. And with the rights of people like me on the line this year, it's kind of time we all get stuck into that process. Thanks. I'll be back next week with another news roundup, but as always, we will all be making plenty of content for you to enjoy during the week. I've seen some of it already, and it's good. And if you like things off the beaten track, why not hop over to Transport Evolved Take 2 tomorrow for our Sunday musing, as well as checking up on the chickens and in the garden. Tomorrow, we'll be talking more about the future of car ownership, and in the chicken and garden update, rain. Rain. Beautiful rain. Whatever you enjoy next, I hope your weekend is a great one, and as always, keep evolving.